Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Gabriel here again, and I trust you guys are doing great. So Nigeria has signed a 3.9 billion US dollars public-private partnership agreement with the China Railway Construction Corporation Limited for the construction of the Abuja Itakpe Railway project. The contract was signed by both parties at the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Transportation in Abuja, and the agreement stands at 15% Nigeria's equity and 10% CROCC equity, and then borrows 75% as SPV from the Chinese bank. This agreement stands out as the first public-private partnership railway agreement for the Abuja-Itakpe or Abuja-Baro-Itakpe and Lokoja line. Part of the agreement is that CROCC will provide Nigeria with the performance bond from their bank before Nigeria gives its sovereign guarantee for them to be able to borrow the 75%. The entire rail facilities are being executed by CROCC and its subsidiaries. The contract also covers the construction of the Warri Seaport. The CROCC will operate both the rail and seaport, recover the money, pay back the debt. This is in line with the federal government's railway modernization program plans to link every state capital by rail. The Itakpe-Abuja railway line is one of the most important railway lines in this country because it's a central line. In view of this, the federal government has stated that it is making efforts to amend relevant laws to break the operational monopoly of the federal government of Nigeria to bring in the private sector, the state and local government in transport operations. The federal government will also concentrate on policy and regulatory matters. The government also noted that it is concluding work on a national transport policy and other subsidiary policies for the sector to include maritime, road transport, and a whole lot, amongst others, to boost operations in the transport sectors. Recently, Nigeria has made giant strides in bringing the infrastructural deficit in the transportation sector, which includes the Railway Modernization Program, the Deep Sea Port Development Program, the Inland Dry Port Initiative, job creation, introduction of policies, amongst others. As earlier stated, CROCC will operate both the rail and seaport, recover the money and pay back the debt, and hand over the facility to Nigeria under a public-private partnership agreement that will last for 30 years. This rail line stands out as one of the longest in Nigeria. Nigeria's rail system consists of 3,505 kilometers of 3 feet 6 inches gauge lines and 507 kilometers of standard gauge lines. Efforts are underway by the government to develop the Cape Gauge network as well as construct a new standard gauge network that can help transportation through this means to be suitable. Nigeria's rail modernization program, as we know it, started with the Obasanjo's administration in 2002. The administration announced a 25-year plan to, as the BBC put it, modernize and expand its aging railway network. As far as we can tell, however, that the administration did not lay a single new kilometers of standard gauge rail. In its 8 years in office, all it did was to lay out a vision. It awarded some contracts towards the end of its tenure, but no work was ever done, at least not on the standard gauge rail. Going further, the Yar'Adua-Jonathan administration that followed went ahead to start implementing the program, kicking off construction works on the Abuja Light Rail project in 2010 and on the Abuja-Kaduna Standard Gauge Rail line in 2011. Unfortunately, it was unable to complete either by the time its tenure ended in May 2015. The Central Line was also not left out. The project started in 1987 under President Babangida, which means it is the first standard gauge rail project in Nigeria history. It is also thus far one spanning the longest continuous distance. Originally envisioned as a freight line to serve the country's then emerging iron ore mining and steel producing industry in what is now Kogi State, the industry sadly never took off, dragging the fortunes of the rail line down with it. Somewhere along the line, it was re-envisioned as a passenger plus freight line to form the backbone of Nigeria's Central Line, which when completed will run from Warri in the Niger Delta to Abuja. But it wasn't until the current administration assumed office that serious works began on the project. The operationalization of the line, costing an estimated $200 million, was funded exclusively from the FGM budget and not tied to any loans. It was commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari on September 29, 2020. A new public-private partnership concession contract has been awarded that will see the development of a brand new deep sea port in Warri as earlier stated Delta State, as well as the extension of the Itakpe-Warri standard gauge line on both ends, from Warri to the new port and from Itakpe to Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, where it will join the Western Line. Another serious project that was constructed was the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line, which started in 2017 with a groundbreaking ceremony by the Vice President of Nigeria in March 7, 2017. Negotiations for the China Exim Bank loan that funded the project happened in 2016 following the current administration's visit to China. Construction of the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line was completed in 2021, and flag-off of commercial operations began on June 10, 2021, making it the first standard gauge rail project to be started and completed by the same administration in the history of Nigeria. Another line that will see the light of the day is the Ibadan-Abuja standard gauge rail to connect the Lagos-Ibadan and Abuja-Kaduna segments. The federal government of Nigeria is still awaiting approval from China Exim Bank for financing the project, which is why the project has not begun. Another line which is ongoing is the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Railway Rehabilitation Project. After completion of this project, it will be noted that Nigeria will actually be linked by rail. Some of the most important lines that are coming up involves the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Railway line. This line will be very, very important and vital to business owners living in the South-South and Southeast. There are other projects that will be talked about in subsequent videos. Kindly do well to subscribe and stay tuned for more interesting content.